What is good, everyone? This is your host, Deanna Radulescu with Label Free Podcast. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, bring you incredible guests from all over the world, so sit back, relax, and tune in. My next guest is a former professional golfer, a sports chiropractor. He's an entrepreneur, founder of the Handmaster Plus, also author of Great Hands, Great Life. Please welcome Dr. Terry Zachary. Dr. Terry, welcome to the show.
Yeah, and great to be here. As you know, I'm a fan, and I really love your concept, really like your interview. So I'm looking forward to this. Absolutely.
Thank you. Me too. Me too. Actually, I mean, I love what you've created. So I want to kind of hear about your journey being a former professional golfer. What led you to creating and founding the Handmaster Plus?
Yeah. So my background, Deanna, I've always been, I'd say from a little kid, I've been a sports fan. I was into, I'm a Canadian, so by law, we have to pursue hockey first.
Yep.
So hockey was first love. Then I got into basketball as well, but golf turned out to be my real love. And as you know, with a little bit of background in golf, it gets to be a technique, you know, as you get better and better.
Yeah.
It gets more acute how you can improve. And so I got to be a real detail and start to be really interested in the mechanics of how things work. And when I got to choose a vocation, when I got to that point in my life, I really loved to learn about the body. So being a sports chiropractor was my choice. And I was about half sports, half family practice in my practice when I eventually got going. But what happened was I had my practice going. I really enjoyed it, enjoyed every second, but I always had a dream to play professional golf. There was a year where my dad died, kind of a little bit surprisingly, and I realized, life doesn't go on forever, and I better make this choice. I have a career to fall back on. I'm going to go, try to go for this dream, which I did.
Yeah.
And if nobody recognizes my face or my voice for your listeners, I did not make the PGA Tour, by the way. So a little bit of heads up about the story. But what happened was it led me bang into, like you talked about, these repetitive grip injuries. For the 3 years I traveled and people knew I was a sports chiropractor, a lot of the players would come to me with their problems. And so many of these problems were finger, thumb, and wrist and carpal tunnel, forearm, and elbow, a lot of elbow problems.
Yeah.
So when I looked at these things, I could see these golfers, and they knew their equipment inside and out. They knew most of their body inside and out, but they had no understanding of the grip muscles. When I was in practice, I had about, I would say, 4 or 5 exercises I would give my patients for proper grip, and proper hand training. They would never do them. So when I got onto the tour, I mean, some people would do them. I shouldn't say they wouldn't, but it was very encumbersome.
Okay.
So when I got into the tour, I showed, I didn't have a lot of time myself because I was playing, and I didn't have time to explain these, but I did my best, and I helped them out where I could. But I could see that all these core repetitive grip problems that affect those fingers, thumbs, hands, wrists, carpal tunnels, and elbows were rampant on tour. I could see there needed to be a solution. Many of these guys, because it's a mini tour, there's not much money, and they've got, a lot of them had family at home, and some of the cases really got me thinking, I have to develop something that makes it easy. Every tour stop we did, I couldn't find anything like what I was looking for.
Sure.
And so it's one of those 3 o'clock in the morning aha moments. Hey, if I did this and put a elastic cord through the ball, and I should have central resistance, the mechanics should be right.
Yeah.
And got up and started drawing it out. And that's what led, I made a really cheap prototype that I used on the players. One particular player that was a friend that I was traveling with had a tennis elbow he couldn't even lift a cup of coffee. We started him with this rough prototype, got amazing results, and it led to what is Handmaster Plus today.
That's amazing. And, I would think that, I'm not sure. We'll go through some of these exercises and a little bit more in detail about Handmaster Plus. But I would think in today's world, with everybody being on their phone, because I know for myself, I'm on my phone so much, I run my business off of there for the most part, that my hand gets sore sometimes, and it goes up into my shoulder because I'm on it so much. And I'm sure for kids too, that are even worse than me, what you offer would be something that is really necessary to keep them healthy with mobility moving forward.
Absolutely. And it's a great comment. And it's really the extrapolation of my story too, because we went to the point where okay, we need to develop something for the repetitive, for the golfers that have
Sure.
repetitive grip injuries. They're gripping golf clubs all day. And for a real general recap, and I'll get to the point of how we got to the general
Sure.
population.
Okay.
But what we discovered at the time, what I knew about the hand muscles was that there's 9 muscles that close the hand. If anybody looks in the front of their fingers, if they just touch the fingertips, thumb tips, and go all the way down, all the way to the elbow, those 9 muscles that close the hand are on the front side of the fingers, thumb, hand, wrist, carpal tunnel, forearm, elbow, the same thing we're talking about. Now, equally, and a lot of the players at that point, Deanna, and that's where we are traditionally, a lot of people think, well, I'll take something and I'll squeeze against it, a tennis ball or a spring-loaded mechanism or a coiled mechanism, just like we all grew up with.
Yeah.
And so a lot of the golfers were actually using something like that. But the problem was when I asked them, well, what do you use to train the muscles that open and spread your hand? And those are the muscles, if a person was to feel the back of their fingers, thumb, hand, wrist, forearm, carpal tunnel, and elbow, all the way to the elbow, that's where those 9 muscles originate and attach to. So the back of that whole complex. So the front is generally the closing, the back is generally the opening and spreading. When I asked the players, what do you do for those 9 muscles that open and spread? Well, they looked at me like I'd basically changed languages on them. They were like,
I bet.
because, and I'll go into why I love your label-free brand so much. The label on hand exercise was at that point, and still is to a large degree today, although we're penetrating this idea, is that when I take something to exercise my hands, it's taking something and squeezing it.
Right.
Well, that's not a hand exercise. That's a hand closing exercise.
Yeah.
And in fact, it will take you into more imbalance. It'll feel like you'll get stronger in the short term because you're using muscles.
Right.
But in the long term, the imbalance will kick in and you will plateau. And then that's where we see injuries happen. Just like if I was to only train my chest, you get the young men that want to train the chest and impress the girls.
Yeah.
That's all they do. And pretty soon they have rounded shoulders. They haven't done their back properly. And now they're imbalanced and in pain. Similar situation. So fast forward, when we looked at that problem, we see that, okay, golfers have this problem. We started to see such good results in these advanced professional golfers because it's really made the problem obvious. They grip all day, hitting balls, hitting putts, practicing out of the bunkers. It's hard work to become a professional golfer. They amaze me, the people that actually make it. But it was an obvious imbalance. Okay. Once they told me I really wasn't good enough at golf and you actually have to get out of here if you want to make a living. Okay. Which unfortunately it happens to a lot of people. Again, it was a blessing to me, as you know, but we took the mechanics of that and we took it to all other sports. We said, we got the same problem in tennis, same problem in baseball and basketball, gymnastics, and you name it. Everywhere we went, same mentality, same problems. And then we went outside of sports. You look at the music, the guitar players, drummers, piano players, wind instruments, etc., same problem. Workplaces, same problems. Now we're, of course, leading to where everybody's got cell phones in their hands.
Yeah.
We have this small range of motion, repetitive grip smartphones that we all use. Myself too, Dan, I work a lot out of my cell phone especially when I'm out of the office. But we have kids and we have 3 kids and they're also we're trying to get them off, trying to limit their video game and their kind of electronics exposure.
Yeah.
But their posture's bad. They're repetitively gripping. We work hard on it with our kids and we have ways of doing it, and that's great. But we're using these hand muscles that we know nothing about. Most people know nothing about the grip muscles, nothing about the muscles that open and spread the hands that are actually stabilizers for grip. And yet we're doing all these repetitive grip injuries. It's just like we're driving a car into a brick wall. And that's why we push so hard on educating people about their hands. If you understand it, we've simplified the exercises to where you don't need to know all these 27 muscles. There's 9 muscles close the hand, 9 muscles open and spread. 9 muscles in your forearm control the position of your wrist when you grip.
Okay.
It's very complicated, but we've simplified it to some simple exercises. And I think that's what scared people away from really knowing hand exercise. It's complicated.
Yeah.
But the exercises are simple, but we've got smartphones in our hands. We've got all our activities in grip, and yet we know nothing about the muscles.
And I think like what you said earlier is that we have been programmed to believe that doing this exercise, and I'm just
Um,
squeezing my hand together, whoever's listening and not watching the video, is something that we've all been taught. Like this is how you exercise your hand, which I'm
yep,
loving this idea of that there we have to do this opposite motion to exercise
absolutely.
it even further. So I don't know, is this a good time to kind of go through maybe some simple exercises that people could do that would help them strengthen those muscles, those or
Yep, absolutely, Dan. And it's really an easy one to demonstrate. And I usually will talk, once you start talking about anatomy and muscles, some people tune out. I'm a nerd with the stuff, so I
I
can
love
go
it
into
too.
details. That's, and so there's that book, and it's not a promotion. It's just that you
Can you show us the
almost,
book really quick?
yeah, I can show you the book really because
Yeah,
it's called Great Hands, Great Life. I'll show it to
yeah.
your viewers, but for your listeners, Great Hands, Great Life. It's on Amazon.
Why proper hand exercises? What does that say underneath the title? Why proper
Yeah,
hand
it says
exercises?
why proper hand exercise must be part of your life.
Yes. Okay. Perfect.
Again, it sounds like for what we know about the hands, we're going, well, that's a crazy overstatement, but it's
Not really.
absolutely not, and I'll explain a lot more why.
Okay.
But the reason I even bring up the book is that, if you want to know the more details, you can get into it. We have to give you the people that option. If you want to know the details of why this area is so misunderstood and why it causes so many problems, get the book, read into it. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But in general, people are going to gloss over if you start talking about, holy mackerel, 27 muscles I'm supposed to
Yeah.
figure out. So the exercises allow me to say to any Mr.
Oh, you froze.
Mrs. I'll get into the exercises really quick. For the people that are just listening, all they need to do, so if you put your hand up in front of you and you close your hands, that's what we know as our regular exercise to close. Right. Now you can just take your hand and open and spread it as wide as you can. There's resistance just in using these muscles. And because most people have never used those 9 muscles that open and spread, without any resistance, you're going to even feel something after a while. Now, I want you to close it again,
Okay.
open and spread again. And then with your hands open and spread with some resistance. So open and spread them wide as you can. Now make a figure 8 at your wrist.
Oh.
Okay. So really quickly, you squeeze against your hand. That's the 9 muscles that close the hand. You'll feel some resistance, even though there's nothing there other than your hand muscles.
Right.
Now you open and spread. That's the 9 muscles that open and spread your hand. Full range of motion. You're going to get good blood flow, good muscle balance. Then with your hand open, you make a figure 8 with your wrist, as wide of a figure 8 as you can, almost like you're making an infinity sign. Okay.
Yeah.
In 3D.
It feels good.
Yeah. So you feel that, and you'll realize that one strengthens all the 9 muscles that position the position of the wrist in grip.
Yeah. Okay,
So now, we also train the forearm muscles very poorly in one plane, usually all the time. And now you'll see how that's what we call our figure 8 exercise.
Yeah.
So people say, well, what's this Handmaster Plus all about? Okay. If you understand that exercise without resistance, and what I'll do for your audience, I'll just slip a Handmaster Plus on.
Let's see it.
Well, it's a simple looking little product, right?
Oh, I love it. Yeah.
See,
Okay.
it's just like a little toyish looking product, but when people put it on, they'll realize, holy cow.
Yeah.
I get resistance and how they feel. And we get all 27 muscles through full range of motion.
Okay.
With this figure 8 exercise. So now it just looks like this. We've already seen the exercise. You close right against the ball, you open and spread against the cord, and you do your full figure 8. Now I've got more resistance on those opening and spreading muscles. Okay. So that's what it looks like. Close, open, figure 8. Close, open, figure 8. Okay.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And so, Deanna, the other thing I would say is that's the most complete exercise. It's 27 muscles. Anybody can understand it. You don't even have to hear that it's 27 muscles. But the other one is when I put the ball on, and I'll just show you with my hand. Okay. That people can just close against the ball, open and spread. Close, open and spread. Those open and spreading muscles, if anybody's in repetitive grip, that keeps the carpal tunnel nice and wide.
Okay.
So people ask me about carpal tunnel all the time. For carpal tunnel exercise, if there's people that work with in repetitive gripping,
Yeah.
dental hygienists are huge on this.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, they could do the figure eight exercise, or they could just do the close against the ball, open and spread, close, open and spread.
And you should do both hands, right?
Absolutely. Both
Yeah.
hands. Yeah, both hands. And just to a comfortable fatigue, it should take you literally 30 seconds to a minute when you start. As you get better with it, it'll be like a minute or two.
So my hand is a little sore today from being on my phone so much while I was on vacation, and so that movement, that exercise, actually made this pain in my wrist go away.
It's amazing. So then we
Yeah.
get into that factor, Deanna, is that the first thing that we recognized as I was dealing with athletes, we were thinking of muscles, and
Yeah.
that was it. Muscle and muscle balance. So we wanted strength and length and muscle balance. And when we had people close, the original exercise with golfers would just close, open, and spread.
Yeah.
Close, open, and spread, they got better. But when we added the figure eight exercise to anybody that grips, you're going to see things go away. We've got a high-level weightlifter right now that's about to go into a big competition.
Okay.
He was sidelined because his stabilizer muscles at his lateral elbow, they will attach up there. Whenever he gripped, he was losing strength, and he was worried he wouldn't be in this competition.
Yeah.
He's been using Handmaster for about 2 months now, maybe 3 months now. And he's about to go into the competition, and he's lifting more than he ever has, and he's pain-free.
Yeah.
So little examples like that. But the big thing that happens there, and with what you're talking about, how you feel better originally, and how that elite athlete and many athletes and many musicians have come along. Yes, the strength and length and muscle balance is absolutely vital. So just like any other part of your body, you have to have strength, muscle length for flexibility, and muscle balance. But what happens when you do something through a full range of motion, Deanna, and this is the most important thing that we've found over the years we've done this, is that you stimulate maximum blood flow and maximum lymph drainage. Because now I'm doing a full range of motion against resistance. My body has to bring blood flow to this area because now my body's saying, geez, Terry, you're now taking your hands through full range of motion. We better open up blood flow, maximize our lymph drainage and venous drainage.
Yeah.
And those tissues become very efficient. And that's how we perform well, we stay healthy, and we maintain our health that way.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. Where can people find this Handmaster Plus? Where when they want to purchase it?
Yeah, we're kind of all over the place. They can look online. We carry it in the States. For your listeners in the States, Kroger carries our stuff. If they want to go into a store, they can ask for Handmaster Plus. But we're also our website. If they go to doczac.com, there's a link to Handmaster Plus. They could also go directly to handmasterplus.com.
Okay.
Well, and get information, and there's places to purchase online there too.
Excellent. I'm assuming you have a patent on this product.
Yes, we do. Yes. It was all this, I'm a chiropractor and I'm an athlete by heart. And those are the things I'm interested in. The other stuff has been a real learning experience, but it's always somebody, we find somebody that's good at what they do, and then they do that stuff for us.
And so as an athlete myself, I was a bodybuilder. I competed for almost 20 years. And I know that if you have one small, and people might not think the hand is a big deal, but like you mentioned, like one small injury to the hand can really affect the rest of your body. It's like a domino effect. So making sure that you're doing these proper exercises, especially if you are on your phone so much, I think is vital to longevity and range of motion and mobility. I mean, that's what I think.
You're completely correct in that, Deanna. And I knew you had a background in fitness and bodybuilding, and it's something where it's another one of those pursuits where people just don't realize the commitment that it takes to get good and then to get elite. And that's one of the things, is your connection to most things is going to be your hand muscles. And it's the same thing we deal with. I was even talking about the bodybuilder we're dealing with. He's Canadian. He's going into a big competition, but he's an extremely smart guy too. You won't see people at the top of their profession or at the top of their pursuits that don't know their stuff.
Right.
But it's amazing how when I talk to people at the hands, it's just this missing category. And it is the link to the resistance, right? So anytime you're going into the gym, you're going to always be repetitive gripping. And that repetitive gripping, whether it's a weight or a dumbbell or a kettlebell or a golf club or a guitar or a tennis racket or, a dental tool,
Yeah.
whatever it is, the mechanics are very similar. Now, the smaller the tool or the bigger the tool or whatever, there's some play in there. But it is the connection to what you do. And we have to start getting people to recognize that, because once this imbalance happens, it can be very debilitating. And yes, it can ruin a fitness career, a golf career. We've seen it over and over and over. It can ruin a dental hygienist's career, but many workplace injuries.
Yeah.
And we just don't understand them. We call them something. We call it tennis elbow. And then there's, again, your labels. It's something that limits us. Well, I've got a tennis elbow. Well, you want to get rid of that tennis elbow pain, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, what's causing that tennis elbow pain? We need to understand the structure of our bodies and work with it, because it's a genius design. But if we just say, well, here's this little box and it's called carpal tunnel syndrome.
Right.
Now we know everything about it. No. What is the carpal tunnel? Why does it break down? Why does the blood flow become poor? Why does the median nerve get affected? Once you learn that, you open up the solution. But if we just stay with these labels, we'll never understand the actual true mechanics that cause imbalance.
I love it. You guys, I'm going to put those links to Handmaster Plus and to Dr. Zachary's website. So if you are interested in purchasing one or purchasing his book, don't hesitate. Go click those links. Check them out. I think that this is a great tool for everyone, especially if you have kids that are on their phone, to prevent them from getting carpal tunnel early on in their life. Because I know that there's a lot of kids out there that are getting that from being on their phone so much. So I think that this would be necessary. So this is the part of the show, Dr. Terry, where I like to ask for last words of wisdom or advice. What would you like to leave with us today?
Yeah, and I love this question. And what I would always leave with the audience is to take a second and realize what a magnificent design you are and we all are individually, and to study that. Take a little bit of time and study it. The hand specifically is what we're talking about, but we're finding that all as I did was to really look and study this miraculous. It's a little tricky, yes, but take whatever area of your body, but acknowledge that your body is this, this entity that built itself, heals itself, and all that stuff. Learn the design that it is, because once we started exercising the hands through their natural design, well, now we started to look into things like even hand exercise leads to life longevity.
Yeah.
There's so many studies about that and about health. But my point is that start to value yourself. You're this amazing creation. If you study it a little bit, you'll start to go, wow, just by learning about myself, I can make myself perform. I can do things to follow that design, make myself perform better, make myself be healthier. So I always tell people that's one of the big things I do is we got to stop devaluing ourselves. This is amazing design. Work, learn it, or go to an expert that knows it, and then work with it. And it's amazing how well you can do performance and health-wise.
Amazing. Woo! Love it. And I just want to say really quick to everybody that's listening, after doing that exercise that he walked us through, my arm, I just feel like a rush, like it's a warm rush, and it feels so much better. So thank you for showing us that little hand exercise. I'm very curious in getting the Handmaster Plus now for myself, because I do not want to get carpal tunnel. It would hurt my business.
You'll love it, and it's super easy. You'll love it. Yeah.
Well, Dr. Terry, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing what you have created. I mean, it's just awesome. I'm fascinated by what you were able to put together just by experience and paying attention to those little things like you mentioned. So thank you very much for being a guest today.
Well, thank you for having me. And if the audience has any questions, they can get a hold of us at info@doczac.com. But I appreciate you letting me talk to your audience. This is a really important area. And I love the label free. This is why I love your show. And I was really thrilled to be on it.
Thank you. You guys, this is your host, Deanna Radulescu. To live your best life, you must live label free. As always, don't forget to subscribe, follow, rate, review, comment, share, all those good things. And I'll be back soon with more dynamic guests.